believe Buffalo is going to win it, folks.
The Bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout.
Let's see why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Now, baby, come on, come on.
No one
Come on
circles the
and
wagon
shout.
like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
All right. We are live, and we're back. I know y'all excited today. First of all, let's just start here. Please like and share and subscribe to all of our platforms and all of those things so everybody can see this. But, we had to come to you today doing a recap of, our first preseason game and also a preview of the next preseason game that is happening come Saturday. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me introduce the cast. Let me introduce the guys. We have up here my guy, Mills, a.k.a. Fresh to Death, a.k.a. he got stuff that we don't have. Mills, what's up with you, man?
What's going on, man?
Man, I see you sporting some new Overdue Bills gear, man. What's up with that, man? Why you hogging all the gear?
I'm not hogging nothing, man. We just working out the kinks and I'm trying to get some stuff ready for the people for this upcoming season. Some of us got some behind the scenes stuff, but once we get everything situated, we'll be available for everybody.
Absolutely. And you can see him at the bottom of the screen, our guy Matt, a.k.a. Matty, a.k.a. All Black Matt. Matt, what's up with you, man?
Much, man. I'm excited to be here. Happy, had a good weekend, man. Got some sun, as you can see.
Absolutely. I see the 10. And we're excited today. We have a great show for you. And before we do that, Matt, please let the people know who this show is presented by.
Yes, sir. This podcast is brought to you by none other than Buffalo Wing Kings. Being from Buffalo, there's two things that the guys here at OBP know. That's Bills football and that's wings. Our first choice and the best choice is none other than Buffalo Wing Kings. At Wing Kings, it's Wings 101. With over 101 different flavors and their beloved Wing of the Month special, Wing Kings is sure to school any other wing place around. With a new location opening up in the University District coming soon on Main Street, to be on the lookout for that. Available for all your wing needs, Bills games, parties, celebrations, any wing cravings you guys have, Wing Kings will take care of you. Stop by their Elmwood Village location now at 484 Elmwood Avenue or give them a call at 716-248-1427 and find out why they say and we know they have the best wings in town, hands down. And make sure to shout us out, the Overdue Bills podcast, to get 10% off your order.
Absolutely, hands down. Drop that name, get 10%. You know the vibes. Before, let's do a little housekeeping right now. We got the merch. You see it up there. T-shirts. Listen. Mills got some stuff that, none of us have seen before in person. I don't know what's going on, but we definitely making moves. Listen. This is your one-stop shop for all your Bills merch. Whatever you need for the season, get it now. Get it today because the season is in a couple weeks. We need to get you fresh for the first game. You know what I'm saying? Second game, third game. We got some night games. You want to have this shirt at night. God knows what can happen to you, but you want to be bright out there with the Overdue Bills. So shout out to the merch. And also shout out to our website, overduebillspod.com. Overduebillspod.com. Our senior editor-in-chief, Mike, he got a few articles up. He just talked about the Josh Allen contract. Please go check us out, overduebillspod.com. And also, last but not least, listen, we had the greatest interview of all time. Our guy, Chef Darian Bryant. Listen, it's on Facebook. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. He gave an amazing interview. Chef, really for, a lot of the Bills players, a lot of the Sabres players. Go check that out. A wonderful interview. But listen, let's get down to the nitty gritty because we go to the quick question of the day. You know the vibes. Quick question of the day. And I seen this today, y'all. Luke Kuechly was at the Buffalo Bills practice today, right? He was at the Buffalo Bill practice, and it kind of dawned on me, maybe I should ask this question. Or, I was thinking about it. Do we have any linebacker on our roster right now that will have a bigger impact than Luke Kuechly did for the Carolina Panthers? And primarily, obviously, we're talking about Matt Milano, and Edmonds. And I'm gonna go to Matt first. Matt, do you think we have a linebacker on our roster as it is constituted today that will have a bigger impact than a Luke Kuechly?
I'm optimistic, that Tremaine Edmonds is so young that he can get to that level just from his diagnosing plays and, making plays. But Luke Kuechly is just like, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer in his short career. He was just different, man. I mean, the guy, consistent All Pro, Defensive Player of the Year talks every year. Just he could change a game at the linebacker position, and he can get out and cover guys 40 yards downfield. You just don't see too many guys being able to do that. So I'm optimistic, yeah, but I'm going to say no, that there's not any linebackers on our roster that will make that kind of impact.
And if you're in the comments, if you're watching right now, you can answer the question as well. Do we have on the Buffalo Bills roster right now a linebacker who will have the impact of a Luke Kuechly? Mills, how do you feel about it?
I think Matt made that question harder than it needed to be. Absolutely not.
Oh.
Absolutely not. I mean, he was a dynamic player. He was the center of the defensive side of the ball for Carolina. He was the heart and soul of that whole team. I mean, he commanded the game. He was the leader that they needed him to be. And, as a middle linebacker, you're supposed to control the game. You're supposed to, check out the coverages, put players in their proper position so it can make it easier for you because you are the center of the defense. You are the heart. I mean, I don't think we got any players on our defensive side at the linebacker position that has that type of heart.
Wow. Matt, you got a response?
Well, I agree with him being the heart and the main part, but they did have some more guys on that defense, other guys that are going to be Hall of Famers, and Thomas Davis.
True.
Josh Norman when he was in his prime, and what warranted him those paydays was Carolina Josh Norman. So I don't know. I'm not saying that Luke Kuechly wasn't the best, and I think he is arguably the best linebacker of all time.
What?
But I think so.
Yo, y'all gotta relax, yo.
Why do we gotta relax?
That is literally the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
We don't have to dwell on that because it's not a Luke Kuechly show.
It's not.
but that could be a debate for another day at the Spades game or something like that.
I don't think that's.
I don't think it's a debate.
Absolutely not. I don't even understand how Matt could even say such insane things of that. But that's fine. It's not a Luke Kuechly show. But we just gonna move right along past that. We're gonna move right along past that. He didn't even have enough seasons to be considered in that. Oh, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get to the recap of this preseason game. Buffalo Bills against the Detroit Lions. We won 16-15. You saw it. We saw it. Great game. You know what I'm saying? It was good to see the Buffalo Bills out there. Good to see the guys, even though we didn't have a lot of first stringers. We did have, some talented players out there. And what we want to start with is I want to go with Mills. Mills, I want to ask you, how many players stuck out to you, right? Like, we understand that these was not, our top of the line, cream of the crop players, but, we had, obviously some rookies in there. Russo, maybe he may be on your list. You know what I'm saying? We had some offensive line people there that we wanted to look at that we picked in this draft. It was a lot of things going on. So, Mills, was it at least maybe 2 or 3 players that kind of stuck out to you that you don't have to go into full detail, but you said you wrote down on a list like, okay, these 3 players kind of stuck out to me at this particular point?
Yeah, I had a couple. I'll start with Devin Singletary.
Okay.
He definitely stuck out. He looked real good coming out the game. Game starting, I think he rushed like 8 or 7 times, something like that. But he was averaging about 5 or 6 yards a pop. He looked a little quicker. He was elusive out there. He was more so going north and south. It wasn't much east or west being involved in that. Hitting the hole, doing what he had to do to get the yardage. So Devin Singletary was definitely somebody that stood out, especially when you don't got Zach Moss. available for the day, and you have Christian Wade available for the day. He had the opportunity to get the bulk of the workload for that starting crew, if I can say it like that. Some of our starting linemen and stuff like that. So Devin Singletary definitely stood out on the offensive side of the ball for me. Defensively, Andre Smith, he had a good game, linebacker position. Obviously, he wasn't playing, against the first but just for him to go out there and lead the team in tackles. He got an interception, if I'm not mistaken, as well, that was overturned by a bad roughing the passer call. But he stood out on the defensive side of the ball. And I got to give props out to Tyler Bass, man. You can see how consistent he is out there on the field. He hit like 3 field goals, a 50-yarder, a 40-something, and a 30-something. So it's just good to see that we have a consistent person that can give us points, especially if we can get, in field goal range.
So, Matt, who stuck out to you? And I'll just leave the question there. I don't want to put any stipulations on it. Who just a general statement. Who stuck out to you?
Honestly, I was gonna start with Russo and Devin Singletary. Like I think I texted the group chat in the beginning of the game. He ripped off I think like 2 15-yarders to start the game. Like he looked like he was making quick decisions and just going and looked fast. But then Russo, man, it just me and my brother were talking about it the other day. That dude, you just can't teach his size, right? So
it's crazy.
On top of his moves and him getting back there, he's gonna be batting down a lot of balls. I think this year he's gonna be getting a lot of sacks that normally people wouldn't be getting just from his wingspan. Being able to get his hands on guys, and he definitely stood out to me. But another guy though is a friend of the show. The beginning of the game, our boy Jaquan Johnson. He came in. He made a couple of tackles, some pass breakups. He was taking the opportunity of Poyer and Micah Hyde sitting out and making a couple plays early. I noticed that early right away.
Definitely shout out Jaquan Johnson, friend of the show. We did an interview with him last year. Go check that out. It's on all the feeds. Great interview. I do agree. I agree with what everybody said. And what I wanted to do is, because at the end of the day, we still have a 53-man roster, and Matt is going to give his prediction on the 53-man roster. We're not going to do it now. Probably in 2 weeks, we're going to do it. Maybe after the third preseason game, maybe before. We're trying to figure that out. But he's going to give his prediction. But we understand that it's a fight going on in a lot of positional battles. A lot of things is going on. And so let me go back to you, Matt. Matt, who was a winner and who was the loser yesterday, right? Like winners and losers. Like obviously, Russo, but he was a first-round pick. Like he's going to be there. Like he has no choice. Even though he did play good, we're grateful for that. But he's already going to be there. But can you think of maybe some positional battles, or just some winners that you've seen, or some losers?
Yeah, so it's early, but we were talking about a big positional battle is one of our glaring needs in cornerback number 2. I think a real loser. Well, I'm gonna start with the winner. Is obviously our boy Jaquan Jackson. He's obviously fighting for a roster spot. So that and Dean Marlowe leaving this year. They drafted a couple guys in the secondary. So guys like him and Cam Lewis, they're kind of fighting for roster spots, right? So I think he was a winner early, and then a big loser to me, a guy who we've been talking about, who the media has been talking about hyping up. Is Dane Jackson. I think he was looking lost out there early and missing tackles. I think he definitely hurt himself, but he has a couple more games to maybe gain some ground or get that back. Because a lot of people are saying that he's going to fight for the number 2 spot with Levi. So
He's not. It's a foregone conclusion. Levi Wallace is our cornerback number 2. We don't even have. That's not even a question. Dane Jackson is just out of his league. And from what I'm hearing, from certain people that's close to the Bills, is that the Bills is trying to make Dane Jackson an all-around corner. Like they said last year, they just told him, go out there and do what you do best. He has some press coverage. He has some things that he did. But when you look at Levi Wallace to me was a winner. And the reason being is because, we all saw the great play in the end zone where he turned his head at the right time. He knocked down the play. But Levi Wallace made tackles, right? And the Bills, for their particular defense, they'll give up things that are underneath, right? Like, clearly, we saw that. Even last year, like, that's kind of the thing that they'll do. They don't want to give up big plays, but they don't mind giving up the 5 and 4 yard passes as long as you come up and you tackle. Levi Wallace showed us that he could tackle. He did some good things. So I think the Dane Jackson thing is over. I think you could just put him in, stick a fork in it. Levi Wallace is our cornerback number 2, and I'm good. I'm good with that. I don't know about y'all, but I'm good with that. But let me go to you, Mills. Matt talked about some winners and some losers, but give me some pros and some cons of what you've seen yesterday. I don't know if you want to talk about maybe some quarterback play you've seen. Even though obviously we know we paid Josh Allen $150 million and we hope he always plays. But how about that number 2 spot? Did you see anything there? Can you talk about that?
Pros and cons. My number 1 pro is our defensive front.
Okay.
Front 4. Not even front 4. Whoever they threw out there was getting pressure on the quarterback or having some type of impact on the field. So I just want to condone the players out there for, doing what they had to do. You get paid to make plays like that, and they all made, the plays they need to play to put us in good position. But that quarterback play, I was a little upset early in the game because I felt that we weren't passing the ball enough. Like, I think the first 15 plays or 10 plays were all runs. And I'm like, yo, this is insane. I'm trying to see what Trubisky can do out there. But then I sat there and I thought about it. I thought to myself, Josh Allen is our guy. We expect him to be able to last an entire season. So who cares what Trubisky look like out there? You know what I'm saying? True. But Davis Webb, he played an amazing game. And truth be told, he may be competing for that number 2 spot if we don't get rid of Trubisky, trade him somewhere, maybe India or something. But Davis Webb had a great game. I think he threw for almost 100 yards. He had the only, passing touchdown of the day. And he didn't get sacked. He had a good couple rushes, quarterback sneaks. Some plays that we designed for Josh Allen. He had a couple of those for some good yardage. And I thought he played a good game. Like I said, we didn't really see much of Trubisky. I think he threw 2 passes. So that was a bust. And I was really upset that Gabe Davis wasn't involved at all. But other than that, our defensive front was great. Webb played a great game. Our special teams is kind of iffy besides our kicker. We had a couple good punts when we pinned them inside the 20 and stuff like that. But, kick return and kick off were kind of shaky. But other than that, it was more pros than cons. But once again, I'm not really an NFL analyst or a coach. So I watched the game for a little bit more excitement than to, break it down. But other than that, that's pretty much what I got out of it.
I agree with you with the pro as far as the defensive line. I think we got some dogs on defensive line. Like Russo, because the truth be told, what they said was, at least all the NFL aficionados, is that Russo was a bit raw, pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was going to come in kind of rough around the edges, a lot of talent. Like, he has the measurables and all of that, but he was never a finished product. But, what we've seen is that he has some tools, right? Like, he didn't play last year because he opted out during the pandemic, but he has some stuff that can help us this year. And when we add a Addison, when we add a Hughes back, and then, Starr, and then, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a formidable front line. AJ and Basham, I think we're going to be throwing guys at the quarterback, position. So I'm excited about our defensive line. I think that will help Levi Wallace, right? That will help with Tre'Davious White, you know what I mean? Because I don't think it's going to be a lot of time for those quarterbacks. So that's definitely a pro for me. But a con, I'm going to be honest, and I know we didn't have our starting line out there, but I think we need offensive line depth. And the reason being is because, and I wrote this down when I was watching the game, Bobby Hart's, right? He's terrible. God awful. One of the worst offensive linemen of all time. He was outmatched. I think he came from Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. He was outmatched. Holding penalties. He whipped on blocks. The reason why when Fromm got in there, Fromm was running for his life because Bobby Hart's, he was just terrible. He just couldn't block anybody. So I think he's going to get cut. That's a fact, though. Spencer Brown, we picked him in this draft. He was consistent, has some upside. I'm not upset. He wasn't the best, but it's something there, right? It's just not a total just a mispick. It's something there. But Tommy Doyle, he was bad. He struggled. He was a 5th rounder. We picked him. I don't know. I'm not happy about it. I don't think he can fill in if we need him to fill in this year. So we're gonna need, like, when this 53-man roster get cut down for all the teams, we're gonna have to look for some offensive line depth. So hopefully Dabo, Brandon Beane is out there looking for some people, because we need help there. Because the truth of the matter is, if you look at the Chiefs last year, they got to the promised land and they needed offensive line depth and they did not have it. It's just as simple as that. So I mean, hopefully nobody gets injured. But we just saw Dawkins. He had COVID. You know what I mean? Cody, what's his last name? Cody Ford. Cody Ford. You know what I mean? We're trying to get his sea legs back. So we need to figure that out. So hopefully Brandon Beane can get some offensive line depth, because that's very important. Does anybody have anything else to say about that?
I honestly think that we do have a lot of O-line depth. I just think that they all have to be in the building together and playing together. I mean, we had that we started with Ike Bacher and Deion Dawkins on the COVID list. And then guys like Cody Ford coming back from injury, and guys like with day-to-day stuff, they haven't really been all together this whole time. So it'll be interesting to see, because there's probably, like, after they did some cuts today, they cut a couple offensive linemen, but those were guys that really weren't in the rotation. But they have like 7-8 feasible offensive linemen on the roster. So I don't know. I kind of think that it's okay with depth.
I'm saying our starting five is fine, but I'm saying, like, these people, especially Bobby, he's expected to play. I mean, he came from Cincinnati. We're like, they expect him to at least be rotation if something happens. He's terrible. He's god awful. He cannot play on our line. He literally can't. He was just awful. And it was the Detroit Lions, for God's sake. But that's neither here nor there. It was only one preseason game. I don't want to get out of control. So let's move on. Let's move on. All right, so let's do this. We're going to bring this segment back, primarily because this will be our sponsor segment. We did it last year, but I want to put our sponsor here, and it's expectation versus reality. And the reason we're going to bring our sponsor segment to be here is because your expectation is their reality. Matt, I need you to tell them.
Yeah, so this expectation versus reality segment is brought to you by Buffalo Pet Supply. Do you have a pet? Are you looking to get a pet, or do you know someone who has a pet? There's only one place to send them for everything to make that pet live its best life. Buffalo Pet Supply. Specializing in fish, small animals, and reptiles, the knowledgeable staff at Buffalo Pet Supply can get you set up or maintain whatever setup you have. Stop down today and see the family-oriented staff located at 1345 Military Road, or give them a call at 716-874-1951.
Absolutely. Shout out to Buffalo Pet Supply. You know the vibes. All right, let's do this real quickly. One thing, Mills, expectation versus reality. Going into this preseason game, what was your expectation? I'm talking about to the Detroit Lions. Going into it, what was your expectation? One.
I expected them to win.
Matt, what was your expectation going into the Detroit Lions preseason game?
I expected them to win pretty easily.
Okay. So, Mills, you expected them to win. We won by 1 point. Matt, your reality did not come to fruition. But that's neither here nor there. So, shout out to Buffalo Pet Supply. That will be their segment moving forward. All right. So, we're about to get off in a second, but we definitely want to preview our upcoming preseason game against the Chicago Bears this Saturday at 1 o'clock. So let me ask y'all this. Give me two things you're looking forward to, right? Because I'm sure Josh Allen has to get at least one series in, right? I don't know. Has McDermott said anything about that, Matt?
No, he hasn't. I mean, I'm okay if he doesn't get any series in.
I think it's too early.
Just because
we only have one more preseason game left.
He didn't play any preseason last year, and he kind of came. I wouldn't mind if he got like a series or two in the last one, but I don't care if we let him sit in that bucket hat until right before the season. I don't care.
I would like to just see a bomb first play and take him out the game. I just send somebody long. Like, I don't care. Put Marquez Stevenson on the side, fake that to Devin Singletary and let that thing go. But that's just neither here nor there. So give me two things that you're looking forward to in this game, Mills.
I'm looking forward to seeing Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh my God!
Actually
looking forward to
getting involved in the passing game with a good core receivers. You know, a little bit of Gabe Davis, a little bit of Emmanuel Sanders, a little bit of your man Dawson Knox. Some of our, you know, our key, I won't say key, but some of our, you know, starting offensive weapons, just to get the feel, you know, to see just in case if we had a potential situation where Josh can't, you know, make a game or he won't be able to be available for a game, if we have the opportunity to make some noise out there. So that's something I'm looking forward to seeing.
Matt.
I'm also looking forward to seeing Trubisky against, you know, the team that kind of ran him out of town, right? So, you know, maybe a little Mitch Trubisky revenge first half or whatever. I don't know. But also, you know, more of the defensive line. I mean, we're gonna have to make some tough cuts in that position, or, you know, it's just we're gonna be cutting other people to keep all those guys, right? So I'm looking forward to more of the D line. I want to see Basham and Russo get some more reps. I want to see Harrison Phillips in action. They all look good in that first couple series. Now I want to see how they can do, man.
I'm interested of seeing just our overall depth. I think it's very, very, very important. I know last year obviously was, but this year we're still in this pandemic, and the league has stringent rules around COVID and all of these things. And nobody knows what's going to happen. But, like, even though we just said, like, Dane Jackson lost the number 2 spot, which he did, I don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean, I'm sure Dane Jackson will be on the team, but I need to see him try to get better. Like, I want to see the D-line get better. I want to see the offensive line. I know I just killed, you know, some of them, but, like, I want them to get better, right? So, I mean, I'm looking just overall depth just to see – and I know we're just doing vanilla offenses, but I like to see Devin Singletary, right? Like, Rad and Matt is going back and forth. Matt thinks he's the number 1. Rad thinks he's the number 2. But that's neither here nor there. But I do want to see him run. See if he can just get back to a modicum of what he was, you know, in 2019. Let's just see he can get that elusiveness back, because he was very sluggish and slow last year. But that's neither here nor there. So let's do this real quickly. We're going to do predictions, and we're going to get out of here. Mills, what is your score for the game this Saturday?
I got Bills winning. I don't think we're gonna kick any field goals this week, so I got Bills winning 21.
Mills, we're definitely
to 17.
Like, I don't know. Okay, 21-17 Mills. Matt.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 24-10 Bills.
Okay, 24-10 Bills. Mills, how many sacks will we get?
Sacks? That's tough. Especially depending on how much they play Fields over there. I said we get 3.
Okay, Matt, how many sacks do we get?
I'm gonna actually piggyback on the 3. I mean, but Justin Fields, I'm excited to see Justin Fields play too. You know, I like Ohio State, so like I like to see him get out there. He got his first rushing touchdown. He is a running. He can take off and run, so that also might help in our sack totals.
So, will we turn him over? Fumble or interception? Yes or no?
I said we get 1.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, you heard the predictions. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait till Saturday. I'm excited for football. We want to just give you a little bit of a preview. You know, it's preseason, but we're trying to get into that form, working out the kinks of the show. So when, you know, week 1 start, we're going to be firing on all cylinders. But again, like we said, shout out to the merch, man. Shout out to the merch. Hit us up, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever you can, hit us up. We got the merch for you. Listen, the merch is ready, locked and loaded. We got t-shirts, we got crew necks, we got hoodies. You see Mills, he got the new merch. He keeping it for himself. Ain't nobody else getting Mike just hit the group chat like it's over for Mills. He got Requity. But listen, we working everything out. Shout out to OverdueBillsPod.com. OverdueBillsPod.com. Our senior editor-in-chief, Mike Daniels. He got a couple stories up, a couple articles up. And we're always looking for new talent. Hit us up. Shout out to the Bills. We need those press passes. And listen, go on YouTube, Facebook, look at our interview. Chef Darian Bryant, amazing interview. This Wednesday, Matt, what is he doing in Larkin Square? What is he doing?
He's doing the jerk cut. He actually just posted today. He's gonna be there tomorrow from 11 to 2. Go see him, man. The food is amazing. Get that. I get the Rasta pasta, but he's doing oxtails tomorrow. It's a special week. He doesn't do them.
I like oxtails too.
Yes, sir. So pull up 11 to 2. Giving my boy some promo.
Absolutely.
But not only check out that interview, we have interviews with our boy Jaquan Johnson from last year. We got Pinto Ron, and hey, we might have a special interview this week coming up. So just stay tuned for that. Also, you know how the format we kind of do an opposing podcaster or opposing team, person every week. So in a couple weeks, we got our boy Striker back. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, definitely tap in. If you miss any episodes, you want to check us out. My 53 will be up in a couple weeks. So let's do it.
Absolutely, man. Listen, we getting in the form right now. Like, share, and subscribe. Let the people know the Overdue Bills pod is back. We end every show with a little hey, 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 hey.
Hey.